Ready?
Ready, Freddy.
Right. Hey everybody, I'm Zach and Lauren. Well,
Hello.
I'm not Zach and Lauren, but I'm Zach. She's Lauren Blair. And we live in Pittsburgh, and we're going through the adoption process right now, and we know some of you, we don't know some of you. We wanted to shoot a quick video to not only let you know where we are in the adoption process and give some updates there, but also potentially to inspire you to adopt.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And our prayer is that it inspires you in some way, opened your eyes in some aspects. Maybe you can learn something new about adoption and kind of an inside look into our story and our journey with adoption from the start.
And it's been a long story, right?
It has been. And really, I think when it comes down to it, adoption was always a part of my heart. From whenever I was little, I would always talk to my mom about expanding my family and our family through adoption and how I would love to adopt someday. I remember talking to her whenever I was 5 years old about that desire that I had in my heart. And so, it started there for me.
Well, it was always in your heart. It was in my family, and it was in my mind. We even talked about adopting whenever we were dating, which was 20 years ago, believe it or not. We started dating 20 years ago. We've been married for 15 years.
Yeah.
We have 3 amazing children right now, and we're looking forward to our 4th, that's for sure. But we are like that. Those conversations started about 20 years ago.
Yes.
I remember we used to dream about our family and what our family would look like. You know.
We did. We would have conversation about adoption, and we would kind of talk about our family not looking all the same and looking like just an all-American family. We just wanted this family created really by the hand of God and through adoption. It was always a part of us. And as we grew and as we got married, and it was always a part of your heart too, because your family had amazing adoptions.
I have 2 cousins.
Yeah.
I love them so much. Stephen and Joey, they were adopted into our family, and both have Down syndrome and amazing stories, amazing personalities. I just love them so much. They're both in their 20s now.
It's been a close part of our hearts.
When I was in 3rd grade, Stephen was adopted into our family for the first time. It's always been a part of my story. It wasn't necessarily in my heart, though. It was in my head when we were dating. It was in my story throughout childhood, but it dropped into my heart a little bit later. So, Lauren, you told me one day, I remember very vividly, Lauren says, I think my body's telling me that I'm done.
I'm done.
I can't have any more children.
Yeah.
You had a horrible rash. You had, a miscarriage in between Judah and Nora. And she just said, I know what my body's telling me. And I remember asking her, I said, Lauren, we talked about having a big family. Like, how's that going to happen if we're done having children? And Lauren reminded me, well, we did talk about adoption.
I remember years ago.
I really feel like, years ago. And you really started to pray through that, and you felt like the Lord was really working on your heart. Like that was the next step for you, right?
Yeah, I felt like adoption was it. I felt like that was the time that this side, our part was done, and now the Lord had to continue to grow our family in His way.
Did I feel that?
No.
From your perspective?
So I remember talking to you about it, and you were like, I remember we talked about it, and I love the idea, but I just don't know. I don't know, Lauren. I don't know.
And the biggest hang up for me as a man, as a father, was essentially, can I love a child who is not biologically mine as if they were my own? Because I would never want to give a lesser love to a child.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate question I think a lot of guys ask.
Absolutely. And I remember thinking, I said to you, well, I don't want to convince you, because if I try to convince you that this is right for our family and we're not on the same page about it.
Those conversations through the years.
Oh, goodness gracious, so many.
I'm not going to convince you.
Yeah, I just want God to speak to your heart, and if it's God, if it's His will for our family, then He's going to show you the same thing. Yeah. And that was the end of that conversation.
And I actually said, well, He's going to have to drop it into my heart because it's not there right now.
And I said, okay.
So it was awkward. It was super awkward, right? And so I was officiating a wedding for 2 of our friends, Rico and Slovena.
Like the next day or something like that.
Yeah, within just a couple hours, it seemed like, right?
Yep.
And I remember officiating this wedding, and I get down off the stage, and the wedding's done, and we're about to go to the reception, and this older gentleman comes up to me, and he says to me, now this sounds crazy, but when Lauren prayed, her prayer really became, this is how God moved. It was so cool. So this older gentleman comes up to me, and he's like, that was such a great wedding ceremony. Way to go. And it's amazing with these 2 couple, with this couple, these 2 people, they're just so amazing. And, watching the Lord and everything He's done in their life and, all that stuff. And as I'm saying that, I felt like God told me in my heart to ask this man if he had ever adopted a child. Okay. And so I was like, super like, that's odd. I'm not going to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So I said, do you have any, do you have any kids? And he said, well, yes, as a matter of fact, we adopted our first child. And then we had, and at that point I was like, wait, that's crazy, you know? So I said, can you tell me about your adopted
coincidences.
child?
There's no coincidence.
And I know, right?
Yeah.
And he told me all about her story and everything like that. And essentially,
We got to meet her that night at the wedding.
I said, you know, my wife talked to me about adopting, and I don't feel it in my heart. I just really want to know if this is God's will for our life. And he said, I'll pray for you. And then he walks away and he said, wait, let me grab my wife. We're going to pray for you now. So this older gentleman comes up to me. They grab my hands and they pray. And adoption went from my head right down to my heart. It was like at that moment, God confirmed that I would be able to love a child who was not my biological child, just as my own, okay? And then it didn't stop. The next day, I took the kids out to Whole Foods and actually prayed with our kids over the meal. And this lady comes up to me, and she said, I love that you pray with your kids. And I felt that same feeling again. Ask her if she's adopted any children, right?
Thank
I know
you,
it sounds
Lord.
crazy. Right? So I said, you wouldn't happen to have adopted any children, would you? And this lady, her face, her look like she was offended. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like thinking, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, I've adopted 3 children, and I helped to run an adoption seminar every year.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's God. Like I said, I'm in, God. You told me I'm in.
That's right. So we were in from that day when God confirmed it, and we both felt peaceful about it. It didn't mean the journey was easy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's not like everything fell into place from that moment on. There was obstacle after hill after mountain. It was not easy, but we were so assured that this was what our family was to do from that moment on. It didn't make it easy, but it taught us to fight for something. When you know something is right, when you feel peace about it, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but to really fight for that and to go for it, no matter what it brings.
Yeah. And so like Scripture's Hebrews says that he who comes to God must believe that he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we take that scripture and apply it to Psalm 37. It says that the Lord will give us the desires of our heart.
Yes.
Okay. And we think, okay, it says, delight yourself in the Lord. He'll give you the desires of your heart. So like, I just need to delight myself in you, and then you're going to give me what I want. In the same sense, though, like that's not what that scripture means, I don't think. I think it means like as you continue to pursue God, and that's what our story shares, is you continue to pursue God's heart on the matter, or whatever. His desires for your life will ultimately be what you desire for your life.
Absolutely.
You know? And so we find then God gives us the desires that are in our heart. So not only does he give us the desires in our heart, but he gives us the desires in our heart, right?
So because the adoption journey for us has been a lot of mountains, a lot of ups and downs, you know, it brought us to a place of, oh my gosh, is this for us? You know, but then we think about the conversations, we think about how God has confirmed this over and over in us so many times. And it's interesting that you even say the desires of your heart. Because one day I just said, Lord, remove this desire from me. I don't know that I can handle it. And he spoke quietly, Lord, I'm going to give you the desires of your heart because I am the one that put that desire in your heart to begin with.
Yeah, and then he also aligned some circumstances for us.
It's
so
amazing.
We can get into as well.
Like the next day, a friend reached out to us and they wanted to do a fundraiser for us. Like it was just amazing timing.
Let's just be real. Like we feel like we're getting older. You know what I mean? Like it's like, how long is this going to take? Because we've been in the process now 6.5 years, and part of that was because we had a child, and then we had to change agencies, and just because we felt like to keep on going on this process. The Lord has led us for 6.5 years along this process. And like, how long are we going to have to wait for this thing, you know?
But every time we want to give up, it's like a miracle happens.
Boom. Confirmation.
And a miracle
Keep moving
happens.
Forward. Keep going.
And we're not going to give up until we have our family complete.
Right. And
some
of those ups and downs have been, we've had calls, they haven't worked out. You know, there have been situations that we felt really good about that ended up not panning out. And it's just the adoption process is sometimes heart-wrenching because you're like, I just want to save and help this child. Like I want to bring them into my home and love them and give them a life that, you know, that they deserve, you know, and do everything that we can for them.
Absolutely. And COVID has been a big a big factor in
We
that
thought
as
there
well.
would be all these COVID babies. We're
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is it, baby.
Right.
Let's go. But
Right.
then actually the birth rate went even more down.
Yeah, so COVID has definitely, played a role in that. And we work with
Yeah.
this amazing agency in Beaver County called Adoption Connection, whom we love
Yeah, great
so
people,
much.
really great people.
And we will continue to work with them. We have a great relationship with them. But now the Blair family is kind of at a pivot right now where we need to think about, we're
getting older. You know what I mean? Like, we got to keep on moving forward. We've been going through this for 6.5 years. It's time to push the ball across the finish line.
Yeah, and we're not going to give up
No.
until the Blair family is complete and
Yes.
exactly what God has pictured our family to be. We will not give up. We will not back down. When
Right.
God speaks something to us, we don't stop until the promise is fulfilled.
No.
And so we've been praying now what do we do? As COVID has changed, as everything has changed in the adoption world, we feel like the next best step for our family is to hire an adoption consultant, which is really, really exciting.
Well, this is a relatively new term for people. Not a lot of
Sure.
people know much about adoption consultants. So if you're watching this and have no context for adoption, you're like, adoption consultant, what is that? So,
Yeah. So the adoption consultant kind of works with several different agencies in the U.S. So instead of just working with one agency in Beaver, PA, it would expand our network, which we love, and you never know what God's going to do.
I'm like, Ambridge boy, kind of want to adopt from that area. You never know what the Lord is going to do, but it is time to kind of expand that at this point.
Absolutely. It's just kind of some wisdom. So an adoption consultant will expand our network a little bit. We'll work with 3 agencies and an attorney, and also stay active with our agency in Beaver County.
Yes.
And so we're really excited about moving forward with a consultant. But a lot of our friends and family have said, even since our friend did a fundraiser for us, had said, wait, you guys still are raising funds for adoption and you still are on this process? And I guess we've never really shared it because
it's like we hate to ask anybody for anything, and so we even started the business went well and it's paid for everything up until this point, but now this consultant and opening up, it actually does cost a lot of money. I don't think people understand how much money it costs, and a lot of people, when I do tell people, I don't know about you, but when we tell people, oh, this is going to cost $40,000 to $50,000
absolutely
total,
yes,
or even that we're maybe even 60. People are like, why does it cost that much? And it's a burden for people, right?
I don't understand how it costs that much. And it is mind-boggling. There's babies in foster care, and I think we're going to even start some paperwork for foster care too, because the foster care system needs help and families. And so if you're out there and your heartstrings are pulled towards the foster care system, just do it. We're going to open up that door as well, because the foster care needs good families. So a lot of our friends and family have looked at us and said they didn't even know that we were still on the journey of saving up money, and does adoption really cost that much? Like, it can't cost that much. And once you start learning about how and why adoption costs that much.
Yeah, because I think we're naturally skeptical. Anytime you hear something costs a lot of money and it should be free, like just being honest, you're like, to place a kid in the home, shouldn't this be less money?
Right.
But no, it actually is pretty expensive. I mean, there's legal fees that we have in there.
Yeah.
There's fees to take care of the mom if the mom doesn't have health insurance. It costs a lot of money to have a baby in a hospital. Somebody needs to pay for that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of medical fees for birth moms, and even advertising fees for birth moms. A lot of transactions that happen between the birth moms and the adoptive parents. A lot of paperwork, legal fees. Medical fees, agency fees, because they're home study fees. So home study is when the agency comes into your house and approves you of being ready for adoption. Oh my goodness,
there's the legal paperwork and the background checks and all of that stuff.
Interstate compact placement, children costs. There's travel fees when it comes to families and birth moms.
Yeah, because they're going to basically say, this baby could come from Houston, right? And they're going to say, you need to be in Houston tomorrow. Okay.
It's so complex in the adoption world. It's not just a take a baby.
And Lauren and I, we're just at the place of humility. Like, we know that we can't do this on our own.
Right.
And we're just asking for some help in this.
Absolutely.
To push this push this goal across the finish line.
Yes.
You know, and it's funny because my mentor and one of my pastors actually said, he was a football coach, and he said the closer you get to the end zone, the tighter the field gets.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. It's like a crunch time for
Yes,
us.
it is.
It's an urgent time for us. We
It
feel
is.
like we're getting so much older. It's
Yes.
time. We got to go. Like our kids
Yep.
are getting older. Now is the time.
Absolutely.
You know? And so we're just simply humbly asking for some help. That's it.
For sure.
And that's not the only reason we're putting this video out there.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. We're going to be doing our hard
But
work.
we're going after it. Like, we're seriously going after it.
We are. Some fundraisers. I think ever since our friend did a fundraiser for us, it increased my faith to think, wait, people would want to help a family out?
Right.
People would want to give? And then once our friends and family started saying, yes, we want to help you. We want to do this. We want to bring a baby or your family home. We want to do this. It opened our eyes and strengthened our faith to think, wow, we can really make a difference. And we can also bring people along with us in this journey that have a heart to give and to be a part of this. They want to be a part of it. And we get to bring people along with us in our journey. And that truly is like such an honor. But yeah, we're going to fundraise. We're going to do grants. We're going to do our hard work
You have some
as
ideas
well.
for creative fundraisers. There's
Absolutely.
just so many different things that we're going to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next?
So, what can people do that are watching this video? Like, what can they do to partner with us, to come alongside with us? And this is hard for Zach and I because it's not necessarily our personalities to want this. When we close our eyes and we think about holding our child, and we know that she's worth it, and we know that we can do this, and we know with the right amount of people around us, we can really accomplish this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've actually started a Adopt Together fund.
Yep.
It's a crowdfunding website for adoption specifically, and they help families all over the place. So we've started a fund that you can be a part of, that you can give, that you can pray, that you can share with other people so they can give. Because ultimately our desire is, if we raise enough money for our adoption, we would love to bless other families and help other families in this process as well.
Yeah. You know, I think the only thing that I'm thinking about when it comes to that is the tie-in of everybody's vision kind of coming together, everybody having a part in something that's so important like this. Like, this is somebody's life,
right?
And that's where the humility that we have to ask, like, humility isn't the right word, but like the humility that we have to allow ourselves to have.
Right.
We have to humble ourselves. That's what I'm trying to say. In order to say, like,
we
actually need help.
We do.
You know, pastor's salary here. I'm not in this ministry to make money. Like, that's for sure.
Yes.
But in the same sense, like, God's always provided for us in every single way.
Yes.
But he usually does that through people. Like, we don't see that happen, like, just arbitrarily. Like, oh, I just found the money for the adoption, like, in some weird place, you know?
So I think we had to recognize that we had a need, and that also people wanted to help.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we are now. We would love for you to partner with us to bring our baby girl home, or baby girls, or whatever the Lord wants.
Whatever God wants, right?
We would love for you to partner with us
that's
in every
not
way.
all this video is about.
Absolutely.
You know, essentially, we want to challenge you to pray through adoption as
Yes.
well. Even though we haven't reached the end goal that we've been looking for, we recognize, you know, not every family is the same. Not every situation is the same. But in our world, in the context in which we live, the amount of churches are here in the United States, and the amount of churches and the amount of foster kids there are right now waiting to be placed are exactly the same. Is essentially, if one in 3?
1 in 3, I think. I mean, sometimes the stats change.
The stats are
but
all over the place. It's hard to connect.
Right.
That. But if every single church in the United States said, one family will adopt. One family
out of the foster care system or out of adoption.
There would be no more foster care system.
Yeah. Like, it would
Isn't that
eliminate
amazing?
the foster care. Yeah, it's wild.
It's like,
when you think about it.
And it blows my mind because growing up, like, as I grew up in church, and like, this isn't talked about, but like, these are actual lives of kids. These are like, not only their like physical destiny, but like so much more, their emotional and spiritual health and those things. Like, we can make such a difference in this one area. If just every church would have one family,
Absolutely.
it would end it. Isn't
yes,
that crazy?
out of the foster care system. I
blows
know.
my mind.
And I think it's if 7% of churches, I believe, I could be wrong on this though, but I think it's 7% of every church, if there were families that adopted, there would be no like orphans. Like it would take care of if the church stepped up in this way, it would eliminate the orphans. Like it's mind-boggling. And the Bible actually calls it like pure religion, I believe. Taking care of orphans and widows,
pure
right?
and undefiled religion
Yes.
is visiting widows and orphans in their distress. Yeah.
It's pure, like, man, it's what it's all about. Like, we can make a difference together. Even if just, honestly, our hearts are, if somebody's watching this video and we inspire one family.
That's it. That's
just
all
one more
right.
family other than us to step out and adopt. Our hearts will be so full. Just one more family to come alongside of us to say, yes, Lauren, we're going to do this. This is scary. This is hard. This is the journey. But God doesn't say that the journey is going to be super easy and the floodgates are going to open. And often when he calls us to do something, it isn't the easiest thing, but he'll give us the strength and the faith to endure, and he'll confirm it over and over in us. So our hearts are, if we inspire one more family to do this, like we've won, you know?
Yeah, or one family who said, we're on the verge, we can't keep going. Like, we know your pain in that. We know your pain in that, where you've gotten call after call and you've been in situation after situation. And there was a time we got a call with a teenage girl who had a baby, and we're like, God, are you calling us to adopt both? And it didn't work out. And we're like, man, our minds are blown. And many times we wonder, like, about God, are you leading us? Like, or is our just heart for people, you know, because our heart for people is yes all the time.
Right.
But we just want to encourage you, no matter what,
No
to
matter
keep on
what.
going.
Don't give up, no matter what. Have that no matter what kind of faith. When God puts something in your heart, keep going, keep pursuing. He is faithful to fulfill his promise.
Yeah.
So really, we just want to encourage you to lean into what we're asking. We would love for you to give, to pray about adopting even, and just come alongside of us in every way as we take you on this journey. We believe we are closer to getting our baby girl. We are closer every step of the way. We believe that hiring a consultant is the best thing for our family, and we need to do this. And so we're going to stay active with our agency, which I love because I love them, but also expand our reach, and we're excited.
Yep. The scripture says that God places the lonely in families.
Yes.
You know, and we're believing that for our family, but we're also believing that for you. And also, you could be watching this, and you could be, because we have many children who are not our biological children, who are much older.
Yes.
And they would say, we don't have parents. We don't, you know. I mean, God really does place the lonely in families. And honestly, we're praying that you open up your heart to the love of a father, the love of a mother in your life as well, even if you don't have that in your life. So we just pray that this is inspiring you in some way toward adoption, you know.
And we encourage you to follow the journey, stick around with us, and we hope to inspire you and show you that God is faithful to fulfill his promises, and we're going to see miracle after miracle. And so we love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted. Love you guys. Hey, these are our kiddos, Noah, Nora, and Judah.
Can you guys say hi? Hi.
Yeah. Guys, are you ready to adopt? Yeah, you ready to have a little sister? Yeah. No, what would having a little sister do for you, buddy? What does it feel like for you?
Aww.
And relief that we finally actually got a baby sister.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You really want a baby sister? Yeah. Or I think you want a baby sister too, don't you? And do you pray for your baby sister?
Every night.
Every night? Yeah.
And what's your prayer like? Do you want to share that? No.
That's okay.
So do you pray for her every night, huh? And you write her notes in your little journal, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you so excited for a sister?
Yeah.
You can hardly wait, huh?
Yeah.
It's a family thing, isn't it? Now, Judabug, are you excited to have a sister?
So excited.
So excited?
Aw.
What do you look forward to most about having a sister?
Like probably like feeding her food and stuff.
Yeah, you're going to help take care of her? Yeah.
Are you guys going to help change diapers? Yeah? You're gonna be a big helper.
I'm
No.
not doing that diaper.
You can. Sure, you're gonna help.
Maybe.
Aw. How long have we been talking about adoption, guys?
A long time.
Nora,
A
do you
long
remember
time.
where we didn't?
No.
No.
Well, no.
Do you guys think God will be faithful
Yeah.
to us?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Judah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noah, do you remember the time that Mom wanted to give up when she was like, I don't know, maybe we should take the crib down?
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that?
that's right.
What did you say?
I forget. What did I
Speak up. You can say it.
Say it.
I forget.
You said.
Yeah, I said, did God tell you to give up?
You looked at me and said, well, Mom, did God tell you to take down the crib? Did he tell you to give up? And I said, no. And you said, well, then I don't think that we should until God tells us to stop. And I was like, you're right, Noah. He didn't say anything. We won't give up. That was a very pivotal moment.
Yep.
And it really helped Mommy out a lot. You're right. Huh.
Well, we love you guys, and we know that God is going to show you his faithfulness through this process.
Yes.
Yeah, Judah just said he wants a baby sister so much. Yep, God's going to show you his faithfulness.
Is there
We're all
anything?
in it together.
We are. We're in it together, right?
Okay,
We're Team
so-
Blair.
Go ahead. I knew what you were going to do. Go ahead.
Is there anything you guys would say to people watching the video? Because we're asking them for help. We're asking for people for help. So anything you guys would say to people that would give or help us out at all?
If you do give, then you're making the right choice.
Aww.
What do you think other people who might be considering adopting should know? What do you think they should know before?
There are some rough times.
Mm.
Don't think you're gonna get a baby girl or a baby boy or wherever you're wishing for, even if it's a dog. There could be some rough times waiting.
Mhm.
What do you do during those rough times?
Trust God. Okay.
Yep.
That's true.
We've had to do that a couple times, huh?
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah.
Take time. You think it'll be worth it?
Yep.
Absolutely. Anything you wanted to say, Judah? What should people know about adoption? No.
Should they do it, Judah? Should they adopt? Should they go for it?
Go for what?
Should other people
Go for what?
Should-
Should they go for adoption? If
should
they-
other people adopt too?
Yeah, should they adopt? Yeah. Go for what? I love you, buddy. You're awesome.
We love you.
We do. Huh. We don't even know you yet, but we love you already, huh? So much. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
You were worth the wait. You are worth the wait.
Yep. Come on.
Hurry up.
Hurry up. We prayed for you for a lot of years, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are gonna be great big brothers.
Mhm.
Big sister.
Yep.
It'd be great.
You want to say anything? Go ahead. Okay, Judah's only going to do the pee diapers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll make that clear.
Don't worry.
Very clear. Yep. Cool.
All right, you guys, should we say thank you? Thank you.
All right, say Team Blair on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Team Blair! Should we do Team Blair? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Team Blair! Oh, I love you. I know. You gonna get your baby sis?
Yes.
Aw.